Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you how I repaired my Flagstone Walkway with Quikrete quick setting cement. So I had some loose stones and a lot of cracks in the mortar in this section of my walkway. The steps I'm going to show you can be used on a Flagstone patio too. There are a bunch of different repair products and techniques that you can use for a Flagstone repair. I decided to go with this technique because I thought it would be long lasting, look a little bit better than some of the ones that I've seen. And this one's actually not going to take that much time, believe it or not. So let's get started. I started by removing all of the loose bits of mortar and stone and setting it aside in a way that I would remember how to put it back where it was found. If it was loose mortar though, I'm disposing of that. After that, it was time to clean and prep the surface that the flagstone was on. So with my flagstone pathway, there is a mortar bed underneath. I need to prep that surface, get it really clean and ready for new cement to be set. If you remove your loose flagstone and find out that there is no mortar bed underneath, so no hard concrete surface, you're typically going to find that there's gravel underneath there. If you have gravel underneath your flagstone, you probably actually have polymeric sand between the flagstones. It kind of looks like mortar, but it's not. So you're not going to be using mortar for your repair. You're going to need to search for a video using polymeric sand if you have something that looks like mortar between your flagstones. After you've removed all of the loose flagstones and the loose mortar that was in between the cracks, you need to get the surface of that mortar bed really clean and ready for the new cement to stick well to that surface. So I scraped off a lot of that mud and silt that was sitting underneath there first. Then I went in with a wire brush to really scrape off all of that loose dirt that was still left behind and sort of rough up or etch the top of that mortar bed and get it ready for something to stick to it. Another step you can do is to use a garden hose with a spray attachment to spray that surface off and make sure all of the loose dirt, any little stones or sticks that are left behind are removed. Then I was ready to mix up my Quikrete quick setting concrete. So I went with this because it was available in a 10-pound bucket at my local Lowe's. You could also use the 3-pound bag of the mortar repair. Either product is fine, it just depends on how much you're going to need for your repair. For all of the flagstone walkway that I showed you, I probably used about 8 or 9 pounds of that 10-pound bag if that helps you decide how much you're going to need. The instructions on this product says that you're going to need 1 part water to between 3.5 and 5.5 parts of the mix. If you use 5.5 parts of mix, it's going to be a little bit drier. It's going to dry faster. That means your working time is going to be less. If you use 3.5 parts of the mix, you're going to have a little bit more time to work with it. But I found on a hot day when I was working with it, I still only had between 15 and 20 minutes before it completely hardened and it was useless. So try to work in smaller batches when you're mixing it up to make sure that it doesn't harden before you can use it all. So don't mix up the whole bucket unless you're sure you can use it all up in 15 minutes. Make sure that you're also wearing a mask when you're mixing this up. You do not want that dry powder to get into your lungs. And you should also be wearing heavy-duty gloves, so waterproof gloves, and eye protection while you're mixing it up and while you're using this product. So the mask can come off once it's mixed and you don't have that dry powder to deal with anymore, but keep the gloves and the eye protection on for safety. If you're going to be filling only to a depth of about 1 inch, you can just use water to get a good bond between the new cement and the old mortar and flagstone. But if it's deeper than 1 inch, Quikrete does recommend that you use their Quikrete concrete bonding adhesive. That's going to help get a good bond between the new cement and the old mortar bed or the flagstone. If you're using water like I am here, you want to just dampen the surface. You don't want standing water left behind, so just enough to dampen that surface and get it ready. If you're using the concrete bonding adhesive, follow the directions on that container. Before I put the flagstones back into place, I did put a little bit of the cement underneath the flagstone to fill in any places where I thought there was going to be a void. But you don't want to raise that flagstone up above the level of the other flagstones around it. It's going to be a trip hazard. It's not going to look good. So don't put a thick layer of cement underneath that. You really only want it in a place where it's going to be filling a void underneath that flagstone. So some of my mortar bed wasn't technically underneath the flagstone areas. I did try to put some of the cement in those spots to try to help support that flagstone. You could also use a stone adhesive that is designed to glue stones together to help keep that flagstone in place long term. I had a thick enough border around most of the flagstones I was repairing that I thought the cement is going to hold this in place for me. But technically, I would say that using an adhesive underneath that flagstone is going to be the best option long term, where you're going to have less chance of it failing. Once I put the flagstone in place, I filled in all of the empty joints around it with the cement until it was about level with the top of the flagstone. And then I had a sponge and a container full of clean water on hand to clean all of the cement off of that flagstone before it had a chance to dry. You have to be really careful about this so that you don't accidentally stain the top of your flagstone surface. So when you're putting the cement between the joints, try to make sure it stays really tight inside of the joints and you're not spreading it all over the surface of the cement. It's hard, it's going to get on the surface anyway, but try to minimize that as much as possible. And make sure that you're constantly cleaning off the surface of that flagstone with the clean water. Refill your water if you need to as you go to be sure that you're not getting like a cement haze left behind on some of your flagstones. Having that sponge soaked in water is also good at smoothing out the cement that you just put into the joints to make it look nice and smooth and have it match the rest of the joints around it. Now the new cement is going to be a lot lighter typically than the older cement joints that are around it or mortar joints that are around it. With time, that new cement is going to age and it's going to get a little bit dirty. It's going to just change from the sun and the weather and everything around it. If you really want to hide that lighter cement, I found mixing up a little bit of dirt or topsoil with water and rubbing that into that new cement sort of hides that it's new compared to the older stuff around it, and it lets it blend in easier while you're waiting for it to age. This new cement will be completely hard within an hour, but it does take 2 full days for it to completely cure. So try not to walk on it during that time. That's it for how to repair flagstone with Quikrete quick setting cement. If you have any questions, as always, put them in the comments below. I do try to answer them whenever I get a chance. Good luck with your project, guys.